Good afternoon, everyone. David Isaacson, SVP at Spectrum Gaming Capital. And I'm sitting here with Vlastimil Venclík, who joins us all the way from Prague. Welcome, Vlastimil. So let's just jump right in. We're gonna talk about Odin GG, but I actually wanted to set the stage and talk a little bit about where eSports stands today. I attend a lot of gaming conferences, and I think between 2 and 3 years ago, eSports was a very, very prominent part of every gaming conference. I think during COVID, it had a little bit of the spotlight shined on eSports, and since then, it feels like the luster is a little bit dull, and people are not as focused on eSports. So, Vlastimil, I'd like you to kind of set the stage. Tell us where eSports has been and where we are right now in its trajectory.
Thanks, David. More than happy to do it. So, hello, my name is Vlastimil. Thanks for having me. So, eSports, in eSports ecosystem, we have this thing called eSports winter right now. Generally the eSports underperformed in the US, like a lot. FaZe Clan, which was like one of the biggest esports teams, they got like over $1 billion valuation. Now they are out of Nasdaq. They were acquired by another company. There were even a big betting companies here in the US raised a lot of money with promise of delivering esports, and it failed. It flopped. I think that the best description is this classical hype curve where a lot of money were invested, a lot of money were burned, and now the whole esports industry is finding its bottom, and now it's going more and more, let's say, steadily up, and the growth is much more sustainable. Last year was tough for a lot of esports teams, a lot of publishers and organizers. There were big rounds of layoffs this year, at the beginning of this year, last year. But I think this will all lead to increased productivity, more sustainable business models, and in general, the whole esports industry will mature a lot. And I completely agree with you that during the COVID, the esports was a thing which saved bookmakers, right? Because nothing was being played, nothing was running. There was no NHL, no NFL, no soccer, only esports. So it helped a lot, created a lot of promises, and now hopefully we can deliver them this year and next year.
Good. I'd like to now focus on Odin GG. Just talk a little bit about where you fit in the ecosystem, what you do day to day, what the company does, kind of a little bit of a marketing pitch for you.
Great question. I always love to speak about Odin. It's kind of my child. So, look, I see Odin as a partner which helps getting betting money to esports ecosystem. We basically help bookmakers getting all data they need, it can be odds, it can be risk management, iframe, data itself from the games, and we package it and create the biggest and broadest offering for bookmakers. We help them even with the marketing services, we help them with affiliate traffic and so on. Basically the whole package they need for being successful in esports. And then we connect them with the tournament organizers, and we help them, with all the branding, and tournament organizers will get money from sponsorships and so on. Basically, I think we are just copying the same pattern which is in the traditional sports, like Premier League and so on, where a lot of betting money is being transferred and help the teams to grow.
And is this esports is done via very large tournaments that are live. I think they held one a couple of years ago in Madison Square Garden, but it's also obviously online. Where does all the betting activity takes place? Is it a day-to-day kind of like a grind bettor that is betting on Twitch while he's watching a screen, or is it more of a lumpy business where you have a big tournament in Germany, let's say, and then all of a sudden you have a lot of betting activity, and then it kind of dies down? Can you kind of talk a little bit about the business?
I think that esports is not that different from traditional sports. So you have leagues which are running through 3-4 months. Then there is a break, and then they are running a fall or let's say summer split. So it's like continuous league, and then you have one-off tournaments, which can happen in Europe. In soccer, for example, have one-time tournament, like 10 teams, some companies organizing it. So the same thing is happening in esports. So you have a long-running tournaments for 3-4 months, and then one-time things which are being played for a month with maybe 50 teams. They are running the qualifications, and then the best ones are in the, like going through the ladder, and then they are in the finale. So it's very comparable to traditional sports, and esport is not the one thing. It's like saying that sports is like one thing. It's very different. Each esport is, each game is very different. Be it CS, Counter-Strike 2, which is a little bit more disorganized, versus League of Legends, which is very tightly organized by a publisher. So there are big differences, and this serves a different public or like audiences as well. So what's interesting on esports is that there is very small overlap between the like players of League of Legends and players of CS. So what we see is if you bet on CS, you don't bet on League of Legends. While in traditional sports, you bet on NFL, you bet on NHL, you have your favorite teams. There is much higher overlap.
So do you think that's a good thing that it sounds like esports betting or the esports bettor is a niche player, right? The bettor likes what they like betting on, and it's to the exclusion of everything else. Is that good for the business or not so good?
Actually, it's you need to think about differently, and you need to serve them differently, but they are very rewarding. What we see from our numbers is that the average bet for soccer in Europe is like, I don't know, like $1. But average bet for esports is like almost like $50. So they bet much more with a higher bet size, but you need to keep them motivated. You need to keep them, having the skin in the game and serve them with different content.
It's interesting that you say that, because in the U.S. the thinking is that the esports, the enthusiasts are young people. And young people don't have a lot of money. But what you're saying is that the people that are betting on this are betting more than people betting on soccer.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's a common misconception in esports that it's basically a bunch of young guys, sitting in some basement and then, watching Twitch and betting. No, it's typical esports bettor is 25 plus male. With quite high disponible income, so they can bet, they have money to bet, and it's definitely not like some underage 16 years old guy like betting because like he wants to bet. No, this is not happening, and I think it's very interesting audience for all bookmakers, and all bookmakers should have this, like let's call it esports strategy. At least think about it, how they want to serve this audience and how they want to work with them and what they can do for them.
You wanted to in preparation for this panel, you wanted to talk a little bit about the modeling differences and requirements for esports betting versus sports betting. So maybe take us a little bit in the weeds about that.
I have a technical background, so I love to speak about sports modeling and esports modeling and so on. Sports modeling and esports modeling is not that different, except in esports we have things which are called patches. So every 6 to 12 months, publisher, basically owner of the game, they create a new patch and they want to introduce new things for players, to make them more engaged, to make it more funny. And these patches they can create completely new rules. If I will compare it to NFL, it's like every year you will have a completely new set of rules where, for example, we will increase the field size, or we will add additional player, or we will just remove a field goal or something like this. Very, very significant changes in the game. And if you build model, which can work for traditional like NFL or soccer, whatever, this model can work for years and years because the rules doesn't change, or they change, but in a small way. Fundamentally, it works. But in esports, it doesn't work. This patch, it completely breaks your models. It breaks everything you have. And you need to create models robust enough so they can survive that. You need to have the full pipeline of data scientists, traders, game analysts, working, checking the patches, working with the publishers, trying to get as much information as possible. And this is not happening in the traditional sports. So modeling for traditional sports is a little bit easier than for esports. That's why there is not that many players for esports, because it's very hard to do it right. And you need to have the full pipeline of everything, really work with your model backtesting, and we haven't touched the player props. The player props are another beast. Like these patches can completely change the meta game, change the dynamic in the game, and your models for player props, you can just throw them and start over again.
Okay, so we have 2.5 minutes left. I'm gonna big picture question: What has to happen in the U.S. market for esports to be a significant element of betting activity, and kind of tell us where this business could go?
For me, it's like US. $1 billion question. If I will have an answer for it, easy answer. Look, from what we expect and what we see is there is let's say 30 billion in betting handle globally for esports. It's
30 billion.
30 billion.
Okay. In handle.
In handle.
Okay.
In handle. So that's something quite significant for betting operators to ignore that. Why esports didn't live in the US? I think I touched it at the beginning. It's because there was a big expectations for esports companies to deliver, and they didn't deliver because the very complicated market conditions and classical hype curve. And now it's getting better. Now it's more money is being invested in universities, in high schools, to help local teams to grow, to help local teams to be better, to compete in different tournaments and different leagues. So it will bring its fruits, but it will be, let's say, 3 to 5 years, unless the old teams and the whole industry will get back on track here in the US. It didn't happen globally, so it was much easier for us, to explain bookmakers why you need esports in CIS, in LATAM, in Europe. Here in the US, it's slower, but it's ramping up.
Do you see the university activity happening overseas as well?
It's actually very interesting. No, we don't see it. We don't see that many universities jumping on the esports. It's happening here in the US.
Okay.
And I believe, when you have eyeballs, when you have traffic, universities jumping in, the betting will come, and the US esports scene will be very big.
Okay. We have 40 seconds left. Anybody have any questions in the audience for Vlastimil about esports?
What's holding up regulatory approval? Is regulatory approval spreading in the US?
It is spreading, and we are actively speaking with a lot of regulators here in the US. They need to understand esports. For them, it's not a sport. We need to explain that it is a sport. It's there's a regulation, there are some standards, and so on. For example, I love one of the questions from the regulators, look guys, esport is not a sport because the guys are sitting in front of the computer and they are not moving. How it can be a sport? So this is the kind of pushback we need to explain, and we need to explain to regulators that it is a sport, and they shouldn't be afraid of it.
Chess is a sport, so esports can be a sport. Thank you very much, Vlastimil.
Thank you, David.
Great job.